Hey y'all, it's Amy from See Amy Draw, and I know it's been a very long time since I've made a video, and this one has kind of been a long time coming. However, I am kind of glad I'm doing this video at the time in which I'm doing it, because this journal in particular, if you follow me on Instagram or from my Patreon, hey guys, how are y'all doing? Then you already have an idea of what the focus of this video is going to be. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. I haven't made a video in so long, and not to say that I ever felt like I was very polished, but I apologize in advance if I do come off a little less polished than normal. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So I have quite a few things on my table with me, but the main attraction is going to be these little notebooks here, which I have lovingly called my blackout notebooks. I'll let you read the sticker that's on the cover of this one. So basically, all I keep in here as far as supplies go for this particular journal, these are, this one is an Exceed notebook. They both look very much like the Leuchtturm A6 notebooks, but they're not. They're from Walmart. They're like $5. This one was gifted to me because I could not find just like a clear cover or like a regular plain cover of this notebook at my Walmart stores. And I bought this one just years ago, and I didn't pick up and start using it until May, which you can see the date on there. So yeah, I have these notebooks here. They don't have to be fancy. I've also in the past used some field note notebooks for this exercise. However, I was filling these up very quickly, and you'll kind of notice this one took me less than a month. This one I started on July 9th, and currently it is August 10th, and I'm still writing in it, still about halfway through, but that kind of has to go with like the whole evolution of how this notebook is now being used in my daily life. I recently started adding some photos that just kind of make me think of some people who are very near and dear to my heart, and yeah, those are my kids. It's a friend of mine who's no longer with us. And yeah, I just like to have these close when I am journaling about the things that I typically journal about in these notebooks. As far as utensils go, I use a Pilot G2 0.7. I use this gel pen for pretty much everything now, all my journaling and whatnots. I will occasionally feel a little fancy and decide to use a fountain pen, but for the most part, it is a Pilot G2, unless otherwise stated. And then also this Stadler, I think that's how you say it. It's a black highlighter. So you see it's got a chisel tip. And I bought a box of them on Amazon. There's like a huge supply of them, so I will not be running out anytime soon. And you'll see here in a second why I have so many of them. Although I will say, because of the way that this journaling experience has evolved over time, I am not as reliant on using the black highlighter as much anymore, which is kind of nice. But yeah, you'll see. Let me just go right into it. So this is my blackout book, and essentially what this means is a journal that I started using towards the end of May. I was having a lot of problems with certain people and just kind of like really struggling with how I communicate with them. And I really wanted to be better at thinking through the things that I was saying before I said them, considering a situation from all vantage points before I addressed anything. With that, a lot of the stuff that I write or ended up writing were things that, you know, made me upset, things I didn't want myself to go back to and be reminded of. So I used the highlighter to highlight over certain parts, and also things that were just entirely too personal that I didn't want to maybe one day be making a video. And then like sometimes people will like zoom in and want to like examine a journal, and that's just like, that's too much for me. But anyways, I'm gonna just raise this just a little bit. So like I said, I just let myself just rant and rave about a situation or something that I was trying to better understand, and then I would go back and just highlight over it. I would write down things that I wanted to say to people before I said them, and that helped a good bit. And yeah, you'll see kind of over time, there's a lot, and I'm just flipping page by page. Some days were better than others. At this point, I was writing in this every single day, typically in the morning, and then also maybe sometimes at night. It just helped me process things, and then, you know, be better at how I was communicating with people. However, still something I struggle with. Some things that I wanted to write down and maybe not block out, but also was very personal, I just cover them with sticky notes, because I do go back to these pages and I will read them, but it's not something that I want like anyone to be able to see. So that's that. And at a certain point, I noticed that I was also grieving a lot. I started grieving, and it was just like a grief that I've been holding on to for almost 2 decades, and it just kind of exploded for me, and it was very hard for me to just revisit a lot of things. So yeah, I wrote about a lot of that in here. I wrote, now I'm at the point where I'm writing letters to this person, just because it helps me process. I also have some notes on, like, because I noticed as I was doing this, I wanted to focus a lot on like my healing journey, because everything that I'm having to go through right now. And one of those things is showing more empathy for myself. So I have some notes on here on things to like remember and keep in mind. And then just some like different types of philosophies and things like that. I've been reading Marcus Aurelius's book, Meditations, or his collection of works, notes actually, essentially is what it is. Meditations, it's helped me a lot, just to do some more self-reflection. So yeah, this has been very helpful. So some of this stuff too is in here, there are notes. So, you know, when I first started this, people were suggesting, well, like, write it out and then burn it, or rip it up and throw the pages away. And while I love that idea, I wanted something that I could still keep, because there would be moments I think I would find, or I felt like I would find some light just kind of shine through. And that was something I didn't want to let go of. I didn't want to solely focus on the negative in one space at like one time. Because as I'm processing something that's bad, there can be things that shine through in that, and I wanted to keep a record of that. And maybe it's something where I will eventually just have a separate, you know, just keep 2 separate notebooks where I have this one that I'm writing in, but also, you know, another one where I can write those things down. I have some song lyrics that I had written down too that was just like helped me process some, you know, certain situations I was going through with people. And that just helped me to listen to those songs. Towards the end here, I'm starting to get a little bit more clarity on a lot of things, so I'm not having as much stuff blacked out and making, I think the close of this notebook, I had come to a very strong conclusion about something. So I wrote a letter to myself there at the end to close it out. I just thought it was a nice way to just end this notebook and then start another one. After this one, I picked up, not these 2, but I had 2 field notes notebooks that I filled up probably within like a week or 2 process, but also in that journaling, I wasn't doing this as often. And now I'm at the point where I am really only doing this maybe once a week, and it's probably why I'm struggling with so much too. I need to kind of get back into this practice, but things have evolved, like I said. By the time I started this is July 9th. My first entry was July 12th. I think because the one before this, the last day was on the 9th, and I finished it that morning, and so I just anticipated I'd come back to it that evening. So I went ahead and made my little typewriter sticker thing with it's the little punch label maker. If you're interested, just let me know and I can find a link for it. But I didn't have my first entry until the 12th. And then over time, you kind of see this one started out pretty bad. I don't know. And, you know, for me, it's like when I flip through this and see all this, like, I don't even remember what I was writing about, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's there. If I try hard enough, I can still read some of it. But again, it like hurts my eyes to look at. I did transfer some like little notes into this one, the Wabi Sabi philosophy, Japanese philosophy. I transferred that in here just so I have something so I can look back on it over time. And then again, like I just really fell off. I did have some days in these notebooks. I do have days where I've skipped because they were just too much. They were days that were just way too big. And I spent most of my time just being in the moment and sad about it rather than reflecting on it. And it would be something that was just so big that I didn't want to come back to it, so I didn't. But yeah, I'm working more in here now. I'm doing like some therapy homework and whatnot, some practices to heal some core wounds, if you will. So I can be better at communicating with people, because I realized a lot of, you know, problems that I've had recently kind of stem from my issues with abandonment and feeling rejected and things like that. And so I'm working on it. It takes time. But yeah, I want to get back. I do need to get back into using this more regularly, so I have somewhere to just kind of relieve myself, because things just pile up and they get so big. And when my world starts feeling really big and heavy, that's where things start to fall apart. And all the pieces that I've put into place to keep me from feeling certain ways slowly start to slip away, or they feel like they start to slip away. But I'm working on it. So that's what I've been using these notebooks for. A lot of people have been asking about them because I do post about them on Instagram, and I've shared about them on Patreon. So I wanted to kind of give a little bit more of an in-depth view of how I use these and kind of like my practice with them too, and hopes that it'll help other people. And yeah, that's all I have for today. I do want to do another video where I talk about what journals and notebooks and things I've been using. I know September is coming up, so it means Hobonichi releases right around the corner. So I'm considering what I'm going to do as far as my planner system for next year. To be quite honest, I have been struggling a good bit with getting back into journaling, just because it was something that I really fell out of in the last few months, and the last few months have been so big and heavy. And I know this month is going to be also. I've already anticipated it, because there are things that I've already put into place that I'm going to be working on that I need to resolve. And so it's going to take a lot of energy and focus for me. So I don't want to put the pressure of journaling and things like that. I do need to, though, get back into it. I have a 5-year journal that I've been using to write down like little bits and pieces of advice from my girls. It's something that I'm giving to them when it's done. And because in 5 years, y'all aren't gonna believe this, my youngest will have graduated from high school and my oldest should be graduating from college. And I have this 5-year notebook that I want to gift to both of them to share, and to figure out how they both can have it, whether they, you know, give it back and forth every so often. But this couch chewing on a bone, I apologize. But I started writing that today, and honestly, y'all, I'm 5 months behind, and that was very overwhelming for me. But once I started writing, I couldn't stop, and everything that I was writing in there was, you know, addressing some things that advice that I would love to have now, after having lived through some things. And it's like, it brought me a lot of comfort in knowing that I'm doing something and I'm putting something into place to help them avoid a lot of the situations that I am now finding myself in, which brings a lot of comfort, right? So doing that has got me back into the whole putting things on paper thing, which I want to get better at again, I want to get back to. I don't want to get better at it. I just want to get back to it. I found a lot of joy in journaling, and then I just let a lot of people and things kind of take over my time a little bit in a way that it was completely me. That's all on me. But yeah, and so I want to get back to that, and I can have that little happy place and happy moment for each one of my days, regardless of it being good or bad. So that was a lot of extra. That is not part or included in this. Again, like I said, this is not scripted at all. I'm just sharing as I'm thinking. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you liked it. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.